This broadcast is brought to you by Elgato Gaming, your first stop for high-quality streaming and recording equipment, including the Stream Deck, which lets you evolve your gaming broadcasts. Find out more by clicking the link in the description. Well, hello there, and welcome back to another stream in the AOR PC GT3 Tier 1 League. It's the final round of the season. We are here at Watkins, Glen. We have a 35-lap, 1-hour race ahead of us for the final time this season. I'm Fizzy, and as always, joining me in the commentary box is the amazing, the king of kings. It's King-Kodiak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is indeed the final round here at the Glen. It's the wonderful track of Watkins Glen in America. The champion may be crowned, but there's still racing to do.
There is still racing to do, so we're going to move out to the track. We are in the middle of qualifying at the moment, 4 minutes remaining in the 10-minute session. We can currently see the Heidi sliding his way through the middle part of the lap, and yeah, the Heidi, of course, who unfortunately had to say goodbye to his championship hopes last time out after connection problems prevented him from taking part in the race. So that means, as King-Kodiak mentioned, that Jadier was crowned the season 10 champion, becoming only the second ever double champion in the AOR GT3 leagues, and also the second ever to retain a championship after winning his first one. So a good job for Jadier, but there is still racing to be had for one final time in season 10 before we take a little break from the GT3 leagues, then maybe focus on a little mid-season league like we had last time with the touring cars. That was good fun, before of course GT3 will be back in action again in a few, a month or two, I guess.
Usually about 6 weeks, isn't it? Between,
yeah, something like that.
Between seasons, yeah, or there or thereabouts. But with just under 3 minutes to go, everybody's on track. Unfortunately, we only have 13 with us. Alas, but current leader is Popsu, 141.705 at the top. We've just lost.
Oh, dear me.
So we're already down to 12. That would be our guest driver, Andrex, was with us. He's just dropped off, which is a shame because he was actually running the Aston.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see that car.
Yeah, absolutely. But sadly, he is just disconnected. So, alas, not with us and not able to rejoin either because it is now too late for him to do so. It's just 12 in our little field right now. Popsy's still on pole, as mentioned. Heidi in the Z4, 148.858, just 1.5 tenths down. Leon the sick one in the, this time he is the lead. Audi, 141.869. And not even 2 tenths separates the top three. Nagram in the Lamborghini in fourth, 142.162. 4 tenths down. Jadier, our new champion, is actually in 5th and in the pits, so not enough time for him to do anything about it. That's interesting. So even he can make mistakes. Van Orman, the next Audi, next ACR coloured Audi in 6th position, 142.313. Had a Lexus in the Lamborghini. Looks like he's had an argument with the wall. And there's Ironic in the next Lambo in sequence. In 8th position, 142.565. We still haven't even hit a second from the pole time yet. There is Nesterowicz in the black Lambo screaming along to the bus stop area, or the inner loop. What's a determined way of getting your car turned. 2 Desert Pack in the white, blue, and oh wow, you have had an argument with something. And again, sliding his car around the final few turns. Finally, my game has updated this man to say the Hunter, and he has now called himself Hunter Dan, which is something I called him actually early on in the season. He's in the M6 this time, 143.951, and Bo, the only Merc out there, is not got a representative time on the board, as Jadier is fixing his stream apparently. Oh, so that's going to be an interesting to see him fight his way through the field. Bo assumedly is setting a lap time now, is he? Let's just follow him across the line. No, he's just starting his lap, so let's follow him through a lap of this track. Turn 1, the 90 as it's called, then to the bottom of the S's, turns 2, 3, and 4. Hard on the gas as they start to rise. Let's get the speedo on so you can see exactly what they're doing. And then just wander over to the right-hand side. Looks like Popsy is... Oh, Leon actually got to Heidi out of third. 0.08 of a second separates the top two. So Popsu looks like he's going to claim the pole unless Bo can pull an absolute masterstroke here. Now through the inner loop. Oh, gets very twitchy on the exit of that sequence. Now through the outer loop of turn 5. Down the hill towards coming into the chute and then into turn 6. Very easy to get this corner wrong. It's a little bit off camber. Then the elevation of the track changes. Oh, it's a little bit wide in the exit. Now down into the boot. Or the toe initially. Turn 7, 180-degree right-hander. And oh, the tail again wanting to get away from the Mercedes. Now onto the boot. Over the crest. Towards the heel. Looks like Bo's going to be the last man to come across the line. Turn 8. Very easy to throw it off into the... Oh, Bo's invalidated the lap time, apparently. That's a shout. Would love to know how, because he was quite easily in the middle of the track there. But never mind. I've had the message that he has invalidated the lap. So through 9, unless he wandered wide and didn't relinquish the in time, which is, of course, entirely possible. Then turn 11. Only 11 turns of the track. Wow!
Did you see that laying on the ground there? Oh.
And threw it into the wall. Why not? He'd already invalidated the lap. So yeah, that is everybody. Unless Hunter is on a lap. No, he's not. Is Popsu on a lap? No. So everyone's under AI control, and that is it. We just have 12.
Yeah, only 12 drivers, unfortunately. It's a great shame. It reminds me of F1 2010, 8 years ago, when we only could have a maximum of 12 drivers in the lobby. But anyway, Popsu, way back when, the start of AOR or ARL as it was. Popsu on pole position. He did improve his laps towards the end of the session, so he's 2/10 ahead of Leon the Sick one, who improves on his good form from last week. The Heidi very close as well in 3rd place. Nagram taking advantage of Jadir having to sort out his stream, which means he's in 4th. Jadir going to be starting in 5th place to give himself a challenge for the final race of the season. Fisifan91, his teammate, starting in P6. Then to Desertpack, ahead of Alexis, Aronic, to teammate Lamborghinis there, next to each other on the grid. Then Sterovic, Hunter, and Bo towards the back of the field. And before we carry on further, I'm going to quickly show you the championship settings, top 10. As it is going into the final race. We know, of course, after last week, Jadir has secured the championship title for season 10, so he's only racing for pride and enjoyment here in the final race of the season. Starting from P5, I'm sure he's going to get quite a bit of it. And then the Heidi, who was his final challenger until last week, sitting in 2nd. He can also not be touched. Popsu has moved ahead of Storm because of Storm pulling out of the league and Popsu getting enough points last week to make that happen. He has a solid 20-second gap to Scott, and I think Scott is not here today, unfortunately. I think that might be the first race of the season that Scott has missed, so I'm sure he has some good reasons for that. So Scott, though, he's not really under pressure from Zenny, because Zenny is also missing today due to personal reasons. Speedham as well has pulled out of our league previously. So a lot of the top 10 in the standings actually missing today. The second one, though, he is here on the grid. He moved up to 8th place last week after finishing 2nd, just behind Jadir. And he's going to be starting, of course, 2nd on the grid here today as well. So he could potentially gain that 7th place from Speedham if he gets a decent haul of points. Then Nagram and Aronic in the 2 Lamborghinis, rounding off the top 10 in the standings. As we go into this final round, but of course there'll be plenty of points for all the 12 starters here if they finish this race. Things could change further down the standings as well. One interesting thing I want to just point out, I didn't make a graphic for the team championship. Just one thing I want to point out from there is that Virtual Drivers by TX3 currently leading the team championship by 47 points. That's the team of Popsu and Storm. Of course, Storm isn't driving anymore. Popsu starting this race on pole position. It's quite a tough task, but if Popsu was to somehow have a horrible race today, the team of Actual Vision Community Racing with Jadir and Fisifan91 could potentially close that 47-point gap and become team champions still. But I think they require Popsu to have a pretty bad day for that to happen.
He is pretty consistent and normally towards the sharper end of the field, so that is a very much a long odds result, but you never know. You never know indeed. So as the 12 drivers then take off from the grid, it is the formation lap for those unfamiliar with the setup. They've had their 2 minutes setup time, any setup alterations they wanted to make. They've had their time to do it. They ignored the lights. As you can see, this isn't the full speed of GT3s. I think we all know this. Time to get some heat into the tyres and the brakes, what have you. They will follow the track around. If we bring up the map, they will follow this 80 kilometers an hour. 80 miles an hour, 120 kilometers an hour, there or thereabouts. Speed right the way through until they get to, I think it's around about turn 9, where they will form the 2x2 formation. The speed drops to 80 kilometers, 50 miles per hour. And then it'll be up to Popsu when they come back round to the start-finish straight to floor it to signify the beginning of the race.
Indeed. Weaving around. It's quite late afternoon here. It's dusky. In terms of the weather, so headlights on to make sure they see everything, and I think appropriate conditions, I would say, for a season finale. It's always kind of sad to have a final race of the season, so let it be a bit dark to rub in the sad atmosphere here. So Jadier on board with him. Yeah, he's going to be very interesting to see how quickly. I mean, I think compared to pace throughout the season, he will be looking to get past Nagram pretty quickly. But then Dehyde, Leon and Popsu have all shown that they can be on Jadier's pace from time to time. So that could be a big battle for Jadier if he wants to take another win for this season. Of course, he has already won 3 races this season, so has Dehyde. So both of them looking for their 4th win of the season, which would make them the driver of Season 10 with the most wins. Storm also having 3 wins from the first half before he had to pull out. Popsu still with a win this season. He has had 4 third places, all in the last 5 races. So he's on a streak at the moment of 3 third place finishes. He's starting from pole, so I'm sure he's looking to make that his best result of the season. And Leon maybe looking to make his first win of the league. So let's see then what will happen. Only 12 cars on the grid, but hopefully we'll see some good racing action here at Watkins Glen.
That is true. We have all the championship front runners all with us today. So this is the view from Dehyde. This is the second row. You can see how close he is under the tail of that Audi. There we go. Popsu has floored it. Oh, wow. And Leon just takes the nose off that Z4. We are racing here at Watkins Glen. Leon tucks underneath the wing of that red Audi. It looks like everybody doing okay. Nagram is keeping Jadier Bay. Van Orman looks like he's actually trying to move on his teammate, but settles back into that 6th place. 2 Desert Pack and Alexis just behind them. Looks like everybody has got through okay. There's a bit of a side-by-side going on. I think it was ironic that it is indeed. It's ironic and Hunter that were side-by-side up the S's there, which is quite brave. And look at that, that's 2 Desert Pack on, I can't tell from the camera angle. Oh, wow, that's 2 Desert Pack on Van Orman. Well, that was a lovely move then for 6th position. He went a little bit deep, but has managed to keep it on the road. Jadier keeping the pressure on the Lamborghini of Nagram now coming through turn 5. So he is looking to get on with it, but that's a very impressive result. Even assuming Jadier is out of position, that's a decent result there qualifying-wise for Nagram. So Nagram's got to make that big old Lamborghini much, much bigger still. The top 3, as my cameraman is lost. Dehyde then looking at the tail of the 2 Addis ahead. Leon staying right with Popsu. Everybody's, oh no. As soon as I say that, Hunter is in trouble. He's falling to the back. Come on, cameraman, keep up. My cameraman's staring down the road. Yeah, the Hunter has fallen right off the back of the field. So he's about 5 seconds behind Bo. So he's had trouble. Doesn't look like there's any damage on the M6. We'll see if he comes in very early. But looks like, with the exception of that issue with the M6, everyone has got through okay.
Certainly, that was some good racing there on the first lap, I would say. A few position changes and mostly clean, apart from what might have happened with Hunter there, dropping 5 seconds off the pack. But Popsu leads the way after the first racing lap here in the final race of the season, doing a good job from a pole position. Leon keeping up well though, and I have to say, as you mentioned, Nagram doing a fantastic job, not only to qualify for, but to keep the championship, well, the winner of the champion, the newly crowned double champion, behind him for the first lap. And not only that, he is almost putting pressure on the BMW.
Alexis is in trouble.
Oh, him as well.
So Alexis had fallen. I think he had a problem at turn 1, and just saw the heat falling through the field. So it's so easy to get turn 1 wrong though. You're hooning towards it along the start finish straight, and it's really deceptive of how much speed you've got to take off to actually do turn one properly. Popsy broken away a little bit by about half a second from Leon, but Tahaidi's got a whole load of trouble. If you look from Jardier's perspective, that's what Tahaidi's got to deal with.
Yeah, Jardier right on the back of the top 5 queue here. Nagrom in the middle of the 2 drivers who were battling for the championship, of course. So Lamborghini, nice to see a Lamborghini high up. You know, I like this. In the middle of 2 top level drivers. So I'm sure Nagrom is either a little bit nervous or is actually really enjoying being in a battle with these 2.
Indeed. The top 2 are settled into their rhythm, then all looking further behind. You can see Van Orman is on to Desert Pants Gates. He's staying right with the white, orange and blue Audi. There you just saw Nesterovic into the shot. Most of the field are still fairly condensed. Of course, Hunter and Alexis having their early troubles that have dropped them off the back of the field. You know, Ironic in his Lambo is still right with Bo in the Mercedes. So plenty still to sort out. Still keeping up with the top guys. Loads of people are very close. And wow, Popsy was now a second clear of Leon. So either Leon's just made a mistake somewhere and just lost a big handful of time, because he was 4/10 behind the red Audi just before the lap ended. So I think he may well have made a mistake somewhere. And Alexis has brought his car in, so he's looking to get that pit stop out of the way sooner rather than later. Assuming it's very much so. He didn't. So no damage to contend with, or certainly no damage fixed if he had any on board the Lamborghini. So he's got that absolutely dealt with. Fair enough. And whilst everybody is adjusting for position, that's not a bad call. Oh, that's Nagrom run wide. As you can see from Jardier's perspective. And to be fair, 2 Desertbacks not too far back. It's just over a second between himself and the next Audi in line, who's keeping Van Orman company. The field is still pretty condensed.
Yeah, it is, which is good to see. Apart from Hunter and Alexis dropping off, I think. I don't know why Alexis really needed to get this pit stop out of the way that early if he didn't have damage, because he was kind of on his own anyway. But at least now we don't have to worry about it for the end of the race. It was at Alexis, wasn't it, that managed to... did he pit the lap too late at some point earlier in the season?
I believe it was at Alexis.
I think it might have been him, yeah.
That was Rapuna, who we thought he'd done it right, but it transpired he had done it a lap too late. Sadly, we're disqualified with that. So, yeah, not looking to make that mistake again. But then we keep coming back to this. You know, Daidi did that absolute blinder in the opening round at Sonoma, where he pitted very, very early, almost as early as he possibly could, and then went on to win very comfortably. So there is merit in that particular way of thinking. Speaking of Daidi, he's broken away from Nagrom a little bit, nearly a second there. He's now closer to Leon. Oh, not quite, beg your pardon. He's very much chasing the black Audi down the road. And still only a second for Popsy. He opened up 3/10 to his lead last time around. So still very nip and tuck. Everybody from 1st to 7th in the 43. So very similar pace up top.
Yeah, certainly. Only Popsy really sort of consistently being a little bit quicker than the rest at the moment. The last couple of laps it's been 3/4 quicker than his closest rivals, Leon and Heidi at the moment. So Popsy is looking for his first win of the season, and he's certainly showing that he has the pace at the moment. But of course we have seen him earlier as well, having very good pace in qualifying, and then at the start of the race, but then it can tend to drop off a little bit. I think, was it Donington that happened maybe, where he was looking good at the start of the race, but then he suddenly just fell through the field a bit later on. But at the moment, so far so good for Popsy. One of few drivers, I'm going to give a shout out a bit later on to all the drivers that have actually attended every race this season, because there isn't many of them, but Popsy is one. So good job to him.
Awesome. Yeah, we do like the drivers to take part. It gives us more to talk about, of course. Look at that. Now we're starting to see the gaps.
Oh, look at this.
Now that I'm not surprised about. And wow, that's Van Orman.
There's some team orders there. Both of them taking that strategy.
Yeah, well, then they don't share pit boxes as they do in F1, so they'll be able to slot into 2 different boxes. And you just saw Van Orman actually take his spot there. I'm assuming Jardier is just going to get back underway again. Oh, no, he's actually held. Van Orman has gotten ahead of Jardier. I wonder whether Jardier was held because Van Orman has pitted, but he's got himself... Oh, Van Orman, that's a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Silly boy. But
Yeah.
either way, he's on track. I mean, I would imagine he won't hold Jardier up.
But that can't be the reason he dropped behind, though, because he was still behind Jardier on the entry despite the speeding. So Jardier must have had a slower than usual pit stop for whatever reason.
Either that or he just decided to let Van Almen go, which would be a little bit odd. I mean, Jardier's got nothing to prove, so to speak. He's already sealed the championship, but that was a little bit of an unusual one. Maybe we'll hopefully catch up with Jardier towards the end. So we will see if see if we get a chance to have a chat with him. Now back up to the sharp end. Popsu now slightly under a second ahead of Leon. So Leon has managed to close that gap in a little bit. The Heidi is lurking in the Z4. There you can see it. Nagram now has 2 Desert Pack for company there in 4th. So he's doing a good job to hang on to that position. And there you see Nesterovic with Ironic and Bo right behind. Hunter had trouble early on, and he continues on his merry way in the M6. And Van Almen and Jardier, we know, have come through the pits along with Ad Alexis, taking the very early stop we saw early on.
Indeed. The question is, will any of the top 4 respond to Jardier going into the pit? At the moment, the answer is no. That particular question, but of course they know that Jardier has the pace to undercut them if he has clean air back there, which he does, apart from potentially having to encounter his teammate. But of course, what they might not know is that Jardier has lost some time on the pit stop, so they don't really need to respond immediately, I would say.
Was there damage on the front right of that car?
Front right has currently disappeared from my view, so I'm not
sure. I was going to say, you can't really see it. I said, I think Hunter's got damage because I'm not convinced the bonnet lined up properly. Yeah, there we go.
So stuck a little bit longer.
That explains Hunter's problems early on then. So he has had an argument with something. There wasn't too much then, or he didn't get too much of it repaired. So he's back underway. Back up to the front then. Look at that, 0.005 of a second is all that separated the lap time of Popsu and Leon, but that gap now 1.3, so that has changed very drastically in this lap. There you see Heidi actually 3/10 slower than these two, so maybe the Z4 not well suited to this particular circuit. Nagram still has company from 2 Desert Pack, as we know. Yeah, you can see behind, that's Nesterowitz. They're beginning to really pull away from the pack behind. And yeah, that Lambo's right in there in the 43s. He's been in that kind of pace all race long. So yeah, Nagram is really capitalizing on this circuit, and fair play to him in the Lamborghini.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and that is the Heidi going into the pits from from 3rd position.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And let's see then if he will have a quick pit stop than Jardier. So if he has a normal length pit stop here, I think he will easily be out ahead of Jardier. And that was looking nice and sweet. Good job from the pit crew there on the Z4. So the Heidi should be out, maybe close to Van Almen actually, because he was a little bit naughty and getting some time on the entry. But I think the Heidi will be out ahead.
Yeah,
Let's
plenty
see.
of time ahead. He's coming through. Yeah, the 2 Audis haven't hit the braking zone of turn 1 yet. Now they do. So yeah, De Heidi's got himself 4.6 seconds to the 2 Audis behind, so he's got nothing to worry about there. But interesting. And now we're starting to see Jardier get back into the rhythm. But even so, he's in the 44s.
That's 8/10 slower than Popsu that lap.
Yeah, that's curious. So maybe Jardier wanted to wrap up the championship before here. Maybe this is his Achilles heel somewhat. He wasn't looking forward to Watkins Glen, perhaps. Oh, and some tracks don't suit some drivers. That's a fairly obvious statement, but yeah, some people just don't naturally do well in some places.
Yeah, it was clearly him that pulled the plug on the Heidi's connection last week so that he wouldn't have to have a championship battle at Watkins, but
yeah, maybe.
My conspiracy theories kicking in a bit.
Yeah. So Popsu then has put another 3/10 between himself and Leon. Popsu still getting to the 43.2s. Absolutely stunning pace from the lead Audi. Leon then got himself half a second from Nagram, as we can see in the Lambo. So Nagram just falling out of the 43s on the last lap. 43.7 from Popsu, 44.0 from Leon, 43.9 from Nagram, 43.8 from 2 Desert Pack. So he is ever so slightly edging towards Lambo. 43.5 from Nesterovic. Oh, that looked interesting. That looked lively coming into turn 1 for the Black Mambo. Then the next one along, Ironic, 43.6, 44.6 for Bo. I'm not too sure that Mercedes is going to suit well here at... And he's certainly going to take it then for some odd reason. Right country, wrong track. So to Heidi then, of course, that'll be his outlap. 43.7 for Van Norman, 43.8 for Jardier. So now he's starting to get back into his rhythm, back up to the pace he needs. 44.2 last time, 45.7, not a good lap for Alexis. Let's see how, of course, Hunter had that long lap in the pit. Oh, that's a little bit wide on the exit of 10.11. And he'll improve. And 44, so everybody's in a similar kind of pace, but the closest battle we have at the moment is this one, 2 Desertpack and Nagron for third.
Yes, indeed. So 2 Desertpack doing a solid job here, catching up to Nagron, because Nagron was, of course, in the middle of the Heidi Jardier battle earlier on, but he seems to be dropping a little bit now. The last few laps, the last time out, well, only 1/10 quicker for 2 Desertpack, but he seems to be getting into a nice rhythm here in the Audi. He could do with a few points as well, to be honest. He's only 19th in the championship, but he could gain several positions. I mean, Nick Meadow, one of the guys watching at the moment, he's probably hoping for the Desertpack to have some kind of problem, because he's one of the guys he will jump in the standings if he does get just more than 8 points, which with 12 drivers on the field, he basically just need to finish to get those 8 points. Obviously the point system set out for 20 drivers scoring points, which is based on the fact that we should normally have 26 drivers on the grid. Unfortunately, for whatever reasons, there hasn't been quite that level the last few rounds. It's quite funny actually, several of the guys in chat at the moment should really be driving in the league. For whatever reason they aren't tonight. Zenny, Nick Meadow, Andrex, Storm all in there. It would have been nice to see you guys on track. But yeah, 2 Desertpack looking good in this race, and hoping to move up some places in the championship. Yeah.
I mean, it's the way it goes, isn't it? There's some people have real life takes over. There've been a few technical difficulties that have prevented people from taking part. It's a shame that we haven't been able to replace them in the league from the time that they had decided to pull out, or some people choosing not to run. Watkins, Glen, whatever the reasoning. It's always a bit of a shame when we have a small field, but we press on. There is racing still to do. Popsy opening up another 3/10. Seems to be that his pace advantage over Leon. It's a consistent 3/10 for most laps.
Yeah.
Between Popsy and Leon. So Leon trying his best to hang on to the back of the red Audi, but this is his best opportunity to secure that win in the championship. It will, of course, won't make a difference as far as the championship standings are concerned, as far as who's champion, but you still want the win. You still want to finish the season as best you can.
Yeah,
2
Desertpack in. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. He's opting the end of lap 10 from 4th to bring his Audi in.
I reckon this could be close with Jardier, actually. Maybe Van Omen, because you remember Jardier wasn't that far behind. Well, he was just behind Nagram when he pitted, and Desertpack wasn't too far behind Nagram. So maybe Jardier might get another obstacle.
Oh no, Jardier was on the back of Nagram. So
exactly.
that looked a little slow. So yeah,
but Jardier had a slower pit stop.
He did. Well, that looked like he struggled to get away, as Ironic has brought his car in as well. There's Jardier and Van Omen. Oh, that's going to be close. That's going to be close. There it is.
Very close.
Oh, 2 Desertpack's just about done it, but he's got to get back up to speed. And, Van Omen's determined. Wow, of course, Van Omen is carrying that penalty. The drivers around him will know that. But wow, 2 Desertpack, and he's gone straight to that defensive line, so he's not ready to just let that position go. He's going to compromise his run through the inner loop, and everybody remains where they are. You can see in the rearview mirror the gap actually between Omen and Jardier. That's 1.4. So Jardier he's either really struggling or he's just simply not pushing. It's like I say, he's already been given the championship. He's already been crowned it. So, but that's just not his start. He would still want to press on and get the win. But wow, Van Omen is really wanting to get on with it, and 2 Desertpack is not having any of it. Fabulous stuff.
Absolutely. Great driving from 2 Desertpack here. He realizes that he has what it takes to potentially hold these 2 Audis behind him. 2 guys who maybe usually finish ahead, but they're in the same car, same equipment. Same track, and Tudesback is clearly feeling good today.
Nagram's in, so he could well fall into.
Yeah, he could fall straight into this battle as well.
He's got to have a quick stop then to avoid coming out behind them. And let's see. That's not bad. That's probably a little quicker. The Heidi's now going to come through, and here comes this pack. Oh no, Van Orman! He's had a trouble into the last turn, and that's him back into the pit straight away. Oh, what a shame for him. That would be a great battle, but I think Nagram's just going to come out ahead. There is the Lamborghini. So he did indeed either well. He's gained a fair bit actually on Tudesback. Bearing in mind the Audi was right with the Lambo pre-pit stop. And that has all unwound then for Van Orman. He's had a trouble at turn 11, and he is going to... Ow! That's not nice.
Might just take that windscreen off, to be honest. Just drive with the wind in your face. Why not?
Your way, yeah.
Clearly injured the visibility bit with all those cracks on there. But yeah, Tudesback clearly lost a bit of time from defending from Van Orman on that lap. Maybe there was a bit of, I don't know whether there was any contact between them when Van Orman ended up with his damage, but either way, Tudesback has a little bit more work to do now to catch back up to Nagram. So for the time being, Nesterovic is actually up to the top 3 in the race. Bo is not too far behind.
And Bo's getting into the 43s as well, so he's really starting to get into... 43-2 to Heidi. Now, we've seen this before, where his first stint seems to be a bit off the pace. He has his pit stop and suddenly becomes a god. So we've seen this before. He's got 25 seconds to gain to Popsu. Popsu has yet to come in. Popsu, Leon, Nesterovic, and Bo. I think everyone else has been in. I think it's just the top 4 that haven't.
Yeah, I think so.
So... that he's going to shuffle the order around somewhat, but Popsy's still pressing on. 43.3 last time, opening up yet again another 3/10 over Leon. Nesterovic, exactly as we said, is where is he? 7.2 behind Leon, so a decent effort from the Black Lambo. He was 43.7 from him. So again, right there, just slightly off of Leon's pace, but right there as well.
Pace throughout the field. Look at Jarder, it's only done a 44.3 now, so it's clearly not easy to do these 43 lap times. But a lot of drivers are actually managing it.
Yeah, Van Orman's back on track, but of course it's a long way down. He's lapped by, I think it's the top 2. That's Leon. Yeah. So he's now lapped down, which is a great shame. Oh, what might have been for Van Orman. That 10-second penalty is now completely irrelevant, unless the rest of the field all have accidents, which is, of course, entirely possible. I mean, it's no good assuming that this is how the race is going to finish. It's still a long way to go. We're not halfway through this race yet. We are just coming to the end of lap 13 of 35. Anything could possibly happen. Popsu looking to continue, and why not? He's clearly on the pace. Let's see what his lap time is. It's going to be a 43.7, so a little bit off of his previous best. Leon a 43.8, so slightly slower again. Nesterovic looks slightly wide on the exit of turn 11, but nothing too bad. 43.9, so again similar, but just
adding a 10th every driver that comes through. 2 10ths.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Bo, 44.1. Here is to Heidi, so he stands to gain a fair chunk of time if he's done a good lap. 42.9. Wow, that was nearly 3/10 quicker than his previous best. Wow, first 42, and what a surprise it's to Heidi. He wants to deny that red Audi that win.
Wow, that is a blistering pace from the BMW Z4 driver. Popsu and Leon have never been in 42s. 43.2 as well. Nagram right up there on the times as well, even faster than the leaders that time around. So,
if he can maintain that regularly, he'll be right up there. He could well be a podium challenger.
Yeah, I would love to see a Lamborghini on the podium. I'm not gonna lie. That would be fantastic.
That would definitely deserve a go Lambo.
Yeah. Man. That's back.
That's about 43.7. So again, right up there with the leader's pace. Same as Jardier, again, just not closing in. And you've got to think Jardier is about what, nearly 34 seconds off the lead, and the turnaround seems to be around about 35 seconds. But even taking that into consideration, he just doesn't seem to have the pace to stay up top. So, I mean, that's not a sentence you tend to put on our new champion.
It really isn't. I mean, he's been so fast this season, really deserving of the championship. He's been on the podium in the last 8 races, only in the season opener at Sonoma. He finished P6, had a bit of a poor start actually to the season compared to what we've come to expect, but since then he's always been on the podium. 1 third place, 4 second places, 3 wins. So it's really actually surprising to see him down in 8th at the moment. Of course, he might get ahead on Asterich and Bo maybe when they go into the pits, but still, it's certainly a more troublesome race than what we come to expect from the champion.
See, Storm, we were. I mean, you've got to think when Storm was taking part in the championship, he was absolutely flying with wins. Such a shame that for personal reasons he did have to pull out. But what might have been the not meant of course. Not meant as a criticism either to him or his situation or to our current drivers. But oh dear, it wasn't a comfortable lap there from the Hunter as we were looking at him at 47. There's that rearranged Audi from Van Ommen. Of course, it has had repairs. It just doesn't look it from our perspective. Oops. Again, that's so easy to do. It's such an awkward corner, turn 8, the heel. Oh, speaking of Van Ommen's going to have a penalty. It's, sorry, Van Ommen had the 10-second penalty. It's Hunter that's going to have a 1-second track limits penalty. That'll just add to his day. So Popsu continuing. And 43.3.
Yeah, that's more like it. That's back to where he was at the start of the race.
43.2 from Leon. So now we're starting to see the ACR liveried Audi starting to get into a stride. We've constantly seen him just those few tenths down from Popsu, but now he's actually been quicker than our race leader. Oh, Bo had a bad one there, 45.1. 43.1 from... we just lost. That was Hunter. We have lost the Hunter from the race. Oh dear, down to 11. That's more points for our drivers. Oh, darn. 42.8 whilst we were concentrating on that. New lap record again from the Z4. He keeps doing this. He when he has a bad opening steam, I think, oh no, maybe this track doesn't suit the Z4. Maybe, the Heidi's struggling. And then, ba-boom, off he goes. He's absolutely... and transform! He becomes... absolutely on, just becomes alive.
Yeah, he turns into a transformer and starts just walking all around the track.
Wow, he does seem to be fighting the car quite a lot, though, which is a little bit unusual to see. But then we don't tend to ride a lot on board. Now, that's something I'm curious about, how balanced the car is. That's always the indicative element of that is how much they have to just saw the wheel, which is invariably how I do it because I'm so lead-footed that I end up just kicking the tail up. You actually just saw a little bit there where, Heidi kind of threw the nose in, floored it, and then straightened the wheel a bit. So to let the tail just kind of carry the car and rotate it round. There, you've seen it again, where he throws the nose in, floors it, and lets that rotation just move the car around, which is, in my opinion, quite a dangerous way of doing it. But it's certainly working for him. Well, turning right into a left-hander. That's that seems to be it. But if it's working for him, if he's getting in the sub 43s, then, well, who are we to argue?
It almost looks like a rallycross style in some of these corners. Like you kind of drifting a little bit the opposite way. Not quite on that corner, but especially that slow left-hander. We saw it very well indeed. I mean, custom setups, of course, on these cars. The drivers make their own setup, so they have the choice to sort of, how stable they want the car, how aggressive they want their setups. And my experience, not only on this game, but just in general, is that the fastest drivers, the most skilled drivers, tend to run very aggressive setups. Sort of that a lot of people wouldn't really feel comfortable driving, but because they are just they just have so good car control that it can make sort of half unstable fast setups work, because they control the car well enough to make it fast.
Well, we've just seen how De Heidi does his lap. That was a 43.2, so that was still 4/10 slower than his best. So if we watch how Popsy does his, and again there was a little bit of opposite lock on the exit at that time. But you'll see he's putting him kind of more smoother entries early on, but again, he's much like De Heide was. He's letting the tail do the rotation. He's turning in, and that was because that was a bit of a faster corner. Probably less sliding going on. But there, you see, he's straightened up before he's gotten to the end of the turn. So there is an element of letting the slide do the talking. I mean, it's more evident in the slower corners. See how he does turn 1. See, much more smoother. It wasn't throw it and then straighten it, as we saw from De Heide. This is much more gradual, much smoother line that we're seeing from Popsu, which is kind of how I try and drive the car as well, which is all well and good when you're these good. I mean, if there was a category below amateur, that's where I would be. I'm not anything. I'm not a quick driver. That's why I prefer this seat than a driver's seat.
You're a wacky racer.
I'm a wacky racer, yes.
But yeah, of course, both styles can work. Even
43.2, 43.1 from the people
exactly
watching, respectively.
Exactly. So even the top drivers have different driving styles and different setup types that they prefer. So you can have a stable, you can prefer your car to be stable and make that work. You can prefer the car to be nimble and slidey and make that work. It's just about what matches your driving style and what you're comfortable with, really, and what works for you to be fast with. Personally, I think I'm in the same category as you. I prefer a stable car. I kind of tend to like understeer more than oversteer, just for the safety of it, kind of. But
well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not the first time I've heard that analogy either. You know, to have a car that's naturally understeering means you can't throw it and hope that it'll just turn. Some people just prefer that. Oh dear, 55.9 from Ironic there. But some people just kind of prefer the tail to do, as De Heide was demonstrating that perfectly well. Just prefer to get the tail to do the most part of the rotating. Throw it and floor it, and then you kind of deal with the oversteer, which I mean, to me, that sounds like they would just chew through their tires, but we're not seeing De Heide in every 5 laps, so that obviously isn't the case for him. You just see Nesterovich there with a 44.0, 43.9 for Leon, 43.4 for Popsu. Bo still running there in 4th, 44.6. That is De Heide we just saw coming over the crest there. There's just 3.5 seconds between himself and the Mercedes. He closed in 1.5 seconds on the white Merc in that last lap alone. 43.1 for the Z4. Nagrum 43.9. So again, still, that's Leon's pace in second. He was quicker than half the people ahead of him. So again, Nagrum keeping right on that pace. 2 Desert Pack, not too far off either. 43.4. He's 2.7 behind Nagrum, so he'll be fighting with the Lambo pretty soon. 43.7 for Jardier. Now, Gonzo in chat says Jardier is on Omen setup today. Well, it clearly isn't working for either of them. But that, I mean, both of them set 43.7s last time around, so that would certainly be consistent.
Definitely. I mean, Jardier sort of been brought to Van Omen's level almost, because they were running quite similar pace, it looked like, when they were close together earlier on, before Van Omen had his incident. So does the setup really affect that much? Does it turn a champion into sort of a midfield run?
well, I mean, it would seem so. But you've got to think of how close the skill level is of these drivers.
Yeah,
one inverted commas wrong move in the setup can just ruin your race. Absolutely. So I would believe that it can. 44.8 from Leon. That's cost him quite a lot of times now. 4.6 between himself. Well, slightly more than that, heading towards 5 seconds between himself and Popsu. The Hunter had a Steam disconnect. Oh, well, that'll do it. Oh, what a great timing, Steam. Thanks for that. We're struggling for numbers already. But that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, so it's a shame to see Charles disconnect, and of course, final race of the season. That means the Hunter season is unfortunately over then. He didn't have, well, to be honest, he had a quite consistent run when he was in a Lambo for the first part of the season. He was finishing between 11th and 16th place usually. Of course, he then swapped around to, was it the Merc he was driving in the end?
Well, he was guaranteed a better result than that.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, he has 0 points in the standings at the moment just because he changed to the Merc, I think, before the previous race. He disconnected from that, so he just got 0 points there. And of course, now with this disconnection, he scored 0 points again. So it'll look worse in the standings for the Hunter than what it really deserves to look, if you know what I mean. If it wasn't for the car.
Yeah, I mean, statistics only ever show a very small portion of whatever happens. And it's so true in any sport, motor or otherwise. You know, the numbers can only tell a very small part of the story. It only shows what happened. It doesn't ever show why. And you could retire 5 races in a row, but if you're retiring from the lead, you know, it sheds a very different light on a performance or on a result.
Yeah.
43-0 from Potsu. Wow, he's opened up the taps a bit. He's starting to press on.
Trying to get into the 42s as well. Only Heidi has done it so far. Watching him at the moment. Still in 5th place, but of course the top 4 yet to make their mandatory pit stop in this race. We are past the halfway point actually. Lap 21 starting now out of 35. And that was another 43-1 from Heidi. So it's actually slightly slower than Popsu. For the first time in a while, I think. I feel like Heidi has been very consistently in that very low 43 range. Popsu is there occasionally. And Leon, unfortunately for him, is a little bit off that at the moment. So 5.5 seconds now between the top 2. Nagarom running also solid pace, mid 43s, and has pulled away from Tudasa back a little bit more than when they both made their pit stops. So he's looking well on course for what I think is a net 4th place in this race at the moment, with Nesterovic and Bo probably coming up behind them when they make their stops.
Well, indeed, and that'll be a very, very good result from Nagram. He's really making the most of. He's making that Lamborghini work very, very well. We haven't seen glowing performances from the Lambo, sadly, through the season, and this will be a great way to finish if Nagram's able to get that towards the podium positions. It all depends on. It just all depends on when these guys come in. Of course, we saw Hunter disconnect earlier on. We could have, somebody could experience a similar problem. We never wish it upon our drivers, of course. But, we've got someone else in the 42s. It's Popsu, 42.9. He's opened up 7 tenths nearly between himself and Leon. That's 6 seconds now of a lead he has got. 43.6 for Leon. What does Nesterovic do? 43.6 as well. Ever so slightly quicker. That is Van Ommen that's right behind him, so hasn't got anything to worry about from that chasing Audi. But Bo did a 43.7, so again, that's pretty decent pace for the Merc. But it's overshadowed by this man, 43.1. But he's lost a couple of tenths on Popsu. So whether he's kind of hoping for Heidi to be held up, or whether he's just pushing like mad just to try and maintain the lead, I'm not entirely sure he's going to when the pit stops happen. But if he's able to get regularly into the 42s, anything could happen. He could well start to challenge Heidi. We used to seeing a different Audi challenging that Z4, but hey, it'll give us a potential race towards the end of the potential challenge rather towards the end of the race.
Certainly, yeah. I think at the moment it's basically a lap time battle between Heidi and Popsu. Heidi had the upper hand for a while, but Popsu now, the last couple of laps, has just responded and improved upon his pace. I'm pretty sure that Heidi by now has done enough really fast laps to have jumped Leon, because he wasn't that far behind him when he pitted. Remains to be seen, of course, but I think Leon is a little bit off the pace compared to Popsu and Heidi in the last 10-15 laps. So Popsu and Heidi for the win. It will be very interesting to see what happens when Popsu does make a pit stop. So he has to make that mandatory pit stop before the final 5 laps of the race.
So we've got another 8 laps to do that.
43.9. Popsu, if I was Popsu, I would probably just stay out there, especially now that he has got this pace, as he's got the last few laps. Just stay out there in clean air. Just try and be as far ahead of Heidi as possible when he does make that pit stop, make it as late as possible. And then he might have to be ready for a potential battle with this man when he comes back out, and the pace still between the two looking very, very close.
Yeah, again, Heidi is just reeling Bo in on average on average about 7 tenths a lap. Oh,
yes,
Bo,
to deal with the Merc though in a second.
And so Bo has every right to defend that position. It is a 4-track position. He's not under blue flags or anything like that. Just because he hasn't pitted doesn't mean he has to let him go. And Heidi's already up by, not by much, but he is up on his previous best. We might see a new lap record coming in from the Z4. He's absolutely man-possessed at the moment. If he is taking the thing is about slipstream here, there's only a few places where you'd actually want to take advantage of it. He wouldn't want to be in dirtier here, for instance, and the straights are pretty short, so slipstream's not going to make an awful lot of difference in this particular track.
Oh.
Wow, Bo, that's an interesting way of doing it.
Some drifting points there for him. Oh, he's let him through.
Yeah, he's let him go, and that's fair enough. You saw he pulled over and flashed his lights. He's actually he was 600s up on his best, and is now 600s down, so he's still going to be setting a pretty damn good lap this time around. And again, that's very respectful from Bo. He knew he wasn't able to, realistically put it to Heidi. He's been 7/10 at least slower every single lap since that Z4's been chasing him. You know realistically who you're in a fight with, and he doesn't want to hold himself up needlessly. So fair play to the white Mercedes. Already 1.5 seconds between the pair. So Heidi's not lost any momentum there whatsoever. And that was a 43-0, 43-2 for Popsu, 43-8 for Leon and Nesterowicz. And yeah, Heidi then gaining a couple of tenths on the leader. So he presses on like mad. We've got 12 laps to go. So as darkness falls, the track temperature will drop a little bit. But they're pretty much in their rhythms now. They're not going to worry too much about that. But yeah, Popsu is running out of laps. Ooh, that was a little bit, that was determined. Coming through turn 6, but managed to hang on to that. But, he's really, he can't leave it too much longer to get that pit stop done.
Nope, he cannot. And I mean, every driver pretty much running by themselves on track at the moment. Probably just in the zone, just thinking of nice things to sort of pass the time. It's kind of it's always nice. I find anyway. It's kind of nice when you're just driving around and you sort of get into a rhythm, and then suddenly you start thinking about something else, and then you just suddenly you've driven 5 laps without really noticing. And
well, you're a very seasoned 24-hour racer, so how do you kind of handle it? You've got not necessarily anybody near you track position wise. You've just got to keep the car on the track for a given length of time.
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you kind of keep your mind in the game?
Well, for 24-hour races, a good plan is to have teammates that just talk while you drive, so at least you have something to listen to. If you know, it doesn't get too boring then. But I mean, it's first of all, you have to enjoy driving, because if you don't enjoy driving, it'll become really annoying. You lose motivation quickly, especially in the 24-hour race. I mean, let alone, I mean, even in a 1-hour race, it can be annoying to drive that long if you're not actually enjoying the driving. So I don't think you would commit to a 24-hour race though if you didn't enjoy it. And then yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. You just get on with it. You just focus. You just listen to people talk. You just think about stuff, and suddenly the time passes. You know, you just get into rhythm, and it's a nice feeling as a driver, for me anyway, when you just get into a rhythm and then you just drive without having to think too much.
I saw a clip recently when the AOR Awards thing was opened, that someone posted that clip of you in the driver's seat doing, I think it was Daytona, I think it was 24 Hours of Daytona, and McFillin going through a very long extract.
Oh man, yeah, there was some examples of that last weekend in Le Mans as well. I enjoy that. Just have people read out stories while I drive, because you know it makes it up a bit.
Absolutely.
I doubt any of these drivers will be having anyone telling them bedtime stories while they're in the cockpit. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be sent to sleep. That would be very bad.
Yeah, despite the dusk coming into Watkins and trying their best to put them into a sleepy mood here. But yeah, I think they're all just in a zone. I think they know that the season is about to end. They have 10 more laps to do. Just get it done. Try to be as quickly as possible, or as fast as possible. More correct English. And yeah, I mean, especially for Popsu and Heidi, who know that they both might be in a fight for the win still. They'll be suddenly maybe more focused and motivated to keep their lap times up than some of the other guys who might be, resigned to the fact that they'll finish further down.
Interesting. Bo was flashing his lights there. Maybe he was just maybe he was waking his pit crew up.
Could be,
But,
yeah.
he's
Fish
underway.
might fall asleep in this situation.
And Alexis is going to come through. It was ironic. Yeah, he's out the heel. So, Bo.
Oh, is this a battle potentially? At Alexis and Bo. Yes, there we go.
Yeah. Jardier is actually on the back of 2 Desert Pack. That's what that one looks like. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't mean that much on the back of. So 2 Desert Pack is defending that line coming into the inner loop. We have some battles to talk about. It's taken a while, but here we are. I think we're going to have some more battles to talk about post pit stop for the top, what is now 3.
I hope so. It would be good to end off the season with a nice battle for the win.
Yeah, so Jardier, then that is for 6th. I mean, we're used to seeing Jardier battle for the win under these circumstances, but that is for 6th position, and Alexis has got Bo for company there in 8th. Let's keep an eye on these 2 Audis then for 6th position. 2 Desert Pack in the lead of the pair. Jardier, our Fretty Grand Champion, in the black ACR covered Audi then heading down towards the heel, turn 8. And again, 2 Desert Pack does commit to that early line, compromises him a little bit on the exit, but nothing too bad. Jardier up the hill, and there again, 2 Desert Pack was not confident Jardier wouldn't throw that on the inside, but that compromises exit, and that's going to give Jardier the switchback side by side now coming through turn 10. And then, wow, that went very south very quickly. That was a massive snap. It didn't look like he was on the grass. He just suddenly let go on him. That was a very weird spin from 2 Desert Pack, but it ended up, I mean, the move was done from Jardier. He'd gone through into that 6th place, but wow, that was a very dramatic moment. Well, that would have woken up. But no impact there. Alexis is on the back of that Mercedes, but Bo getting back into his rhythm after his pit stop quite nicely. 27, so 3 more laps before Popsu, Leon, and Nesterowicz have to bring their cars in. Popsu on a fast lap again. He did 42.9 last time around, opened up 9/10 between himself and Leon. So that is 9 seconds nearest, damn it, between the pair of Audis. Popsu coming out of turn 9. Is he still up on his delta? We won't know until he crosses the line. Through turn 10. Keeps it nice and steady, doesn't hit the rumble strip on the outside. Nice and flowing through the final turn. Oh, no sooner do I say that, he gets a little bit loose on the exit. Does he beat the lap time? 42.6. So yes, I'd say that's a pretty damn good lap from our race leader. So he's looking to press on to try and maintain. He knows he's got to come in soon. So I think he's trying to open up the gap to keep the lead post pit stop.
Yeah. Don't know if he knows how fast the Heidi has been driving, but if he doesn't know, I'm sure he assumes that the Heidi has been driving fast back there. And so 43.2 though.
It's a pretty safe assumption.
It is a safe assumption, isn't it? The Popsu that lap, that is a stonker of a lap, fastest of the race. So
considerably by a good nearly 3/10 quicker than what we've seen. Because we can't watch every single lap time as they come in, although with fewer people it's actually a little easier to do that. But it's difficult for us to watch every single lap time as they come in, so we assume that's the fastest one. But wow, that's an amazing effort. Alexis still chasing Bo.
I wonder if Alexis has some damage at the moment, because I did actually see Alexis earlier in the race. He did a 43.3 at some points. I mean, he clearly knows how to get really fast lap times, but he hasn't been able to do that consistently, and it was a little bit faster than Bo, so I think that might turn into a battle. But
yeah, he gained 2 turns last time, so there's about 1.3 between the two at the moment. We'll keep an eye on how that gap descends. There's not too many laps left. 27 out of 35 done. Here's Popsu to complete lap 28. Does he come in this time? He doesn't look keen to. No, that's another lap done. He's only got another 2 laps before he has to bring the car in, whether he likes it or not.
Oh, I'm sure he would prefer not to.
I'm sure he would. 43.1 from Popsy that time. So, one more slightly wide in the exit of turn 1. Leon doesn't come in either. 43.7. Nesterowicz, the top 3, the guys that have yet to come in, have not done so again. So they are running out of time. Let's see what the Heidi's lap time was. A 43.6. So
the slowest we've seen him for a while.
That's Van Ommen. I believe it's Van Ommen. Yeah. So Van Ommen getting out of the way. His day getting no better. So yeah, it's really going to be on how well. Sure, he's got to come in. He doesn't have to come in this time, but he will definitely have to come in next time if he doesn't.
Yeah, he does have to. But yeah, I think Popsu's sort of taken back the upper hand in this lap time battle, and it's looking very good. Oh wait, has he got a penalty?
Oh, he does. 1 second.
1 second. Interesting. He can't really afford the gap being too close then when he comes out of the pits.
Oh, good spot there, Mr. Fizz.
Yeah, it was like unusual to see a red mark there at the top of the standings. I mean, we haven't had many penalties given out in this race at all, so it could be costly. We've already seen a race potentially, or sort of, we have seen a lead battle sort of being decided by a penalty. It was at Hockenheim when, of course, Jailer got the job done on track anyway. But could if he hadn't done that, it would have been decided from the fact that Heidi had a penalty in that race for Jailer to win. 46.2.
He's lost a huge chunk of time.
So I mean,
40 seconds.
So I think whatever has given him that penalty might also have lost him some time potentially.
So Leon is in. Nesterovic has not, so the top two now must come in next time. Unless we've got the maths wrong, but well, no, we haven't. They must come in at the end of this lap, so they have 5 complete laps to do. That's De Heidi's roaring Z4 that has gone past. Of course, he's just taken 3 seconds out of the leader. Well, the leader has given up 3 seconds, you could say, or near enough. Well, that was, of course, a damn quick stop from Leon. He is going to come out pretty comfortably in 4th. Nagran is going to see... Yeah, we'll just see the Audi start to climb the hill as he comes around turn 1. All eyes then on Popsu. What can he do on this last lap pre-pit stop? And then he's going to have to... If he comes up behind Heidi, he's got it all to do. We've seen the pace he has got in that Audi. So we will see how... Oh, Shaki sending penalties get added to the lap time. Oh, thank you for that, Nick. I wasn't actually aware of that one. I hadn't even thought of that, to be honest.
Still a slow lap, though. It would have been a 45 in that case.
Yeah, it would have been a 45 too, so it still wasn't a good lap. Bo's in again. Oh, that'll be why.
No.
Bo's had an argument with something.
Yeah. He was about to have a battle, didn't he?
Yeah. It's a shame we saw the Heidi coming up behind him. We saw him let the championship leader through. Uh-oh.
Oh no, wait a minute.
No, Popsy's not done it. He didn't come in early, did he?
No, surely not. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be 22 seconds out of the Heidi on pace alone.
Good point, yes. Oh dear, that's...
Has he fallen asleep there? Has he gotten too much into that sort of rhythm of not thinking, as I was talking about earlier?
Yeah, well, it's so easy to do. You know that you get into the rhythm. You don't necessarily think about. Oh, he might have thought about. Oh, I must come in, but he probably thought about it like 10 laps ago. And the less you think about that kind of autonomous rhythm, the less you realise how much distance you've done. You said it yourself. Wow, Nesteros has gone a long way down the line. There goes Bo. We'll see he's a lap down at last now. A very quick stop from the Lambo. Nagram's up to 4th. But he's going to be elevated to 3rd with the disqualification of Popsu.
It's very true. So we could well see a Lamborghini then on the podium.
On the podium, yes.
After all, of course, shame for Popsu, but the rules are rules, and he has forgotten to make his mandatory pit stop within the required lap frame, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, well, that is exactly it. There must be 5 racing laps done post pit stop, and he will not do that, unfortunately. He's not the first person to fall for it. We were mentioning it earlier with Alexis. We think it was Alexis.
Man, I can only imagine. I mean, surely Popsu has noticed by now. I can only imagine what's.
Well, there's nothing really he can do unless he kind of pulls over and parks it. There's nothing really he can do about it. You may as well just carry on. And in he comes now. But of course, you count the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5. There is only 4 racing laps remaining. So I'm afraid, my friend, you have left that a lap too late. But let's see where he would have appeared. De Heidi then is, of course, in 2nd. So where... Popsu stopped. That's actually... that's quite a bit longer than I was expecting. Maybe he had a tiny bit of damage to deal with.
See the Heidi coming down the main straight. Popsu on the exit, and the Heidi. Disqualification or not, he is ahead of Popsu. I thought it would be close. I thought it would be a little bit closer than this. He had been running very similar lap times. And Popsu is nearly with Leon, so he has definitely...
it was Fab Iceman. Thank you, Zenny.
No, that is Evan Omen, actually.
That's Van Omen behind him. Yeah. It was Fab Iceman that had the penalty. Thank you for that, Zen.
I was Iceman.
Zenny was with us at Rupuna. Very, very wet Rupuna. So, sadly, Popsu has left that too late. He will be disqualified post-race as a result. Heidi has gotten ahead anyway, and he got himself just over 3.5 second lead. So that just shows. I tell you what, I bet you it was just one of those mistakes. We saw Popsu, because he did have that penalty, but we did see a couple of bad laps from Popsu, whether it was in traffic or whether he made a mistake, and that was probably all it was.
Yeah, I think so. Man, it's going to feel bad for Popsu, of course. It's not going to affect his championship position, I don't think. Only Storm and Scott could have taken his third place in the championship, but they're not racing in this particular race. So he's going to finish third in the championship regardless. However, it would have been his first win of the season if, even second place would have been the best finish of the season. So yeah, it's a shame. But of course, yeah, as I said, results and Popsu. I wonder how far after he passed the pit lane with that 5 laps to go that he actually realized. Imagine if it was like just as he went past the pit wall, it was like, oh no, can I stop and reverse? But yeah.
No.
In any case, this man Nagram has got 3 laps to go, and he's going to be the first Lamborghini on the podium in the GT3 League's history, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's something that pleases our Lord God Fizzy.
It is. Not quite a lemon Lambo, but the rainbow Lambo does the job.
I finally stopped myself saying for lemon Lambo. It took a long time, though.
Took you all season long.
I'm going to double check that I'm pretty sure the ruling states you must do 5 racing laps after the pit stop. I'm just going to double check that because, of course, we have been beating that drum quite a bit.
Yep.
I'm going to double check that whilst we're...
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I'm pretty sure that's what caught out Fab Iceman last time. It was just 1 lap too late.
So this man, the Heidi, then is going to take his 4th race win of the season. It wasn't a championship for him this time around. Could have challenged for it, unfortunately. Disconnection issues last time stopped his charge, his battle against Jadier championship-wise. But he's going to be the driver in this season with the most race wins at least. If he gets this through the final couple of laps, 4 race wins out of 10. Then Storm has 3 and Jadier has 3 on top of that.
I'm still looking up the pit stop thing.
Yeah, still looking at the pit stop thing. So there's a lot of rules to go through to find the right one, I assume.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Popsu then. He has had an impressive race. Let's not take that away from him, of course. One little misjudgment on pit stop lap is not going to take away from the pace he's shown. He took pole, of course. He got an extra point for that.
Yeah, which he will. That's still something that he can take away. But yeah, unfortunately, rule 2.2.2.2.
Jesus, was that 5 twos? 2.2.
4.
There's
4 twos. Pit window. You may not complete your pit stop at the end of the first lap unless you have damage. You must complete your mandatory stop with 5 laps to go. Alas, that was not the case.
Yep, there it is then in black and white. So, Popsu only the 2nd driver actually. I say only. I'm surprised there hasn't been more actually being caught out, or just forgotten about it. But yeah. Either way, impressive race in Popsu, apart from the little blip in concentration when he needs to go into the pits.
Yeah, a great shame, but nothing you can do about it now. You may as well just press on. So then, 10 of our drivers will be coming away with points, and some comfortable points at that. De Heidi, disqualification or not, he did it on track. He's been extending that gap as well. We see Popsu getting very wide on the exit of that turn 9 using all the available track. Let's ride that roaring Z4 through the final lap of this race and, of course, of the season, with De Heide, the only man to have challenged consistently at the top. He took the first round at Sonoma pretty convincingly, but then Storm really got into his stride before he sadly had to withdraw from the league. It's been De Heide and Jardier for the most part since then. Jardier finds himself in 5th place, will be elevated to 4th. Screaming along through the S's along that back straight. It's exceedingly dark now. Very, very dark. But that does not stop the sliding Z4. You just see the amount of steering angle that he's having to put in and how much he then just lets the tail do a lot of the work. It has worked so well for him. The Z4 has had very little representation of the last couple of seasons, but it has taken a number of wins in Season 10 just to prove that it still has what it takes to dance at the top. Through the toe, through turn 7, onto the boot for the final time in Season 10. Oh, Nagran's picked himself up a penalty.
No. It's only 1 second. He'll get away with it at the moment.
He will, yes, unless he throws it into the wall. Through the heel, turn 8, up the hill, round turn 9. Without any fuss at all. He's flashing his lights already. Don't throw it into the wall. That would be exceedingly embarrassing for you, De Heide. He's still flashing his lights. Fair play, why not? But your winner here at the Glen, the final race of the season, it is the Z4 of De Heide. I think he's happy about that. Throws the car into the wall. He's not going to need it again. Popsu came over the line in second. Of course, is going to lose that. Leon is going to be elevated to second. With Nagram, the Lambo has done it. He did have a pretty bad lap last time around. Wasn't a great one that time. Jardier, there he is. He finished 2.3 behind Nagram, remains in 5th. What will be elevated to 4th? Wow, what a dramatic finish for our champion. Nesterowicz is next over the line in the black Lambo. Then it's Two Days of Pack just crawls over the line. Didn't run out of fuel, did he? Oh,
you never know. Maybe. Maybe he's
I
not in the mood for any sort of post-race.
Any hijinks, yeah. And Alexis only his bumper's hanging off. He's only got one working light, but he's across the line. Ironic. I think Omen and Bo are already having a dance there. Ironic is the last man to cross the line.
Give a shout out to him, the coordinator, of course, for the league this season.
I elevated from Tier 2 last time to take part in Tier 1 this season. And there it is, the confirmed finishers. There were only 11 of them. So De Heide, ignoring Popsu, of course, because with that disqualification, Popsu did get the fastest lap as well, with that 42.6. Leon, Nagram, Jardier, Nesterowicz, Two Days of Pack, Alexis, Ironic, Van Ommen, and Bo.
Indeed. Well, it wasn't too many drivers on the grid, but still a pretty interesting race for the final time in Season 10. Watkins Glen is always a fun race, place to not only drive but to watch as well. So fair play to these drivers. 11 finished. Of course, we had 13 at the start. 2 of them disconnecting. And
I wouldn't be at all surprised if no one wanted to kind of chat to us, which is absolutely fair enough. But we'll see. We'll wait for them to make themselves available. I don't want to just grab them.
Yeah, I mean. We usually have him Jardier, but of course he's had a little bit of a tougher time today than usual. So we'll see if he is in the mood. But yeah, I mean it's been a good season. It
has. It's been a very, very close season for a lot of it. It was a shame that it could have gone down to the wire if sadly De Heide didn't have his connection issues last week.
Yeah, especially with how we saw Jardier struggling today.
Oh, what might have been.
Yeah, of course, Jardier maybe would have been motivated to put a little bit more time into the race, maybe get his own setup sorted. If he knew that he had a title channel, of course, he went into this race knowing that he had it in the bag. Didn't really have too much to fight for, of course, apart from getting another race win to his tally. So,
indeed. And just to echo Andrex's shameless plug there, the Endurance League has reopened its sign-ups ahead of the second race, which will be next week, next Thursday, which I am part of the commentary lineup for, and I thoroughly enjoy that. So sign-ups are back open. If you missed the sign-up window for the Endurance League, head over to the forums, find where they are in the Project Cars 2 section, and get involved. You may have lunatics like me shouting about your on-track antics. Oh, what a surprise! It's Jardier in the ready-to-interview box. Let's grab him, shall
I'm just
we?
going to mention quickly as well the Endurance League side. For any PS4 racers who must be watching, there's actually Endurance League on that now as well. So
yes,
it's not only limited to PC anymore. Endurance racing can also happen on PS4. Xbox not quite at the moment, but maybe at some point.
But state your interest, and we will see what we can do here at AOR. There is Mr. Jardier, not quite where we normally see you, Mr. Honzik, but how was that one for you? You seem to struggle a little bit out there.
Hey! Hey, guys, thank you. Well, I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. I did a 24-hour race of iRacing on Saturday.
Of course you did.
And since
I should have remembered.
Yeah, and on Sunday morning we traveled 400 kilometers there and 400 kilometers back for our puppy. And since like the Sunday, I haven't slept for like 3 days, and I haven't touched the wheel or anything. So I just practiced, for example, like 3 laps or 4 laps. That's all what I practiced. So I was absolutely trashed today on the racetrack. I really thank Omen for sending me at least some setup, but it didn't suit me absolutely didn't suit me the setup. And yeah, I had some fun. I tried to undercut at start, but my engine died in the pit. So I lost, I lost like I don't know 5-6 seconds probably, but I wasn't anywhere near the other people's pace, and I don't know what happened with Desert Pack, but I'm very sorry if I touched him, because I was trying to be very hard on him for fun because he's a funny guy. So I wanted to give him a little hell. And I don't know what happened. I need to watch replay. So if I touch him, I'm sorry, Tudes. I love you, man.
Hey, it looked okay from us. We were actually watching you at the point that overtake was going on. You were already ahead, and then suddenly it's like your suspension broke or something. But yeah, we did wonder why your pit stop was a little longer. I wonder whether you were being held because Van Ommens just suddenly took off before you.
Well, because he came into the pit lane like 150 kilometers per hour instead of 60. So he got a 10 seconds penalty in the pit stop.
Yes, he did.
But I really I was doing the same lap times as Omen and same lap times as Tudes. So it was really like hard race for me, but I was really enjoying at least the first 3 laps.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being with us. A worthy champion throughout the season. It's been a great pleasure to commentate on you, Mr. Jardier.
Also, thank you for having me.
It had been a great pleasure. We have 2 other drivers with us. Hello, Leon. It's been a while since we've had a natter to you. How was that one for you?
Ja, guten Tag. This was a horrible race for me, actually. I only practiced today as well. A little bit more than Jardier, though, since I came out from work, and me, Omen, and Jardier and Tudes had the same setup. I don't think it suited that good either, but it doesn't matter. I really did.
His fault.
Yeah, Tudes' fault. But I wasn't so comfortable on this track. I just couldn't get the lines or anything correct, so I just gave up and just thought I'd bring it home, whatever. But yeah, it was a fun race anyway, I guess. And I also want to give a big thanks to you 2 guys for being the best commentators in the world. You have done amazing work this season, so you guys are the winners.
I agree.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's very kind of you indeed. We also have Nesterowicz in the box. This is the first time we've actually spoken to you in the post-race interview room. And it's nice to have a Lambo driver up with us. How are you, sir? How was that one for you?
Well, as you say, I'm fine, and I'm happy for this season. And now I tried the Lambo. As you noticed, I switched from the Audi to the Lambo this season. I don't know what to say. It's okay, but
yeah. I like you in the Lambo, but yeah.
It's a visual good looking, right?
Yes,
but,
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, but
lovely big screaming engine on that.
Yeah, compared to setups, like hearing Jardier telling that Leon and Jardier and Van Ormen are sharing setups. Like I was a lone wolf this season, so it's actually been quite hard to do the setups. So as they say, didn't practice for this race. I practiced, I think, 8 hours or something like that, at least. Yeah. But thank you for this season, and congrats, Jadia, and super commenting by you guys. Enjoy it.
Thank you again. That's very kind of you. And no one else has jumped up to make themselves available for the interview. That's absolutely fine. Well,
Thank you so much too.
Yes.
Sorry,
thank you,
King.
Absolutely fine. And that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this season. Anything else to add, Mr. Fizzy?
Not really, just a quick rundown of the final championship standings. I don't have, obviously, the graphics showing the final standings, because I'm not that quick at Photoshop. But Dada, of course, we know he's the champion. 390 plus whatever points he got for 4th today. So it's quite a lot of points, 400 something. The Heidi, of course...
the luckiest guy. I'm just lucky. I'm so pissed, I'm so pissed. Because if I may, sorry to interrupt, but like at the start of the season, I was super happy about the competition,
Yeah.
Because there was a Storm, there was a Speedmon, there was the ID, there was the other guys, and it was so amazing how the pace was for the first 3 races, and then it went to hell because the people went away, and I was really pissed. I was really happy that Popsu and the ID stood, at least because they were super on the pace. Of course, and Leon as well in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Let's hope next season some of the guys might come back and stay to the end, and some new guys might come in. It's of course what we're hoping for, and the Heidi and Popsy will stay with us. Those are the guys in the top 3 in the standings at the end. Storm, despite only doing half the season, he actually is going to stay in 4th. Scott did every race apart from the last one. He's going to be in a very solid 5th place. A good season for him. Zenny as well couldn't make it in the final race. He's going to be 6th in the championship in the end. Then it gets a little bit more tricky for me to read out down towards the bottom. But of course, Nagrom getting his first podium, his first finish above 6th place today. He is not going to jump above Leon, because Leon finished 2nd. So Leon might actually jump above Speedhim and get 7th in the championship. Nagrom's going to be 8th. And further down on that, I cannot work out in my head. So you're going to have to, anyone who's interested, head on to the AOR forums, and whenever the standings have been updated there, you can have a look. But of course, thank you to all of the drivers that have especially those who have stayed till the end, and stayed active throughout the season. There's not been too many. I think only Daria, Popsu, the Heidi...
The Heidi missed last week.
Well, he at least turned up to last week.
He was
there.
He did try. To be fair to the Heidi, he did try. He disconnected every time he tried to connect, to be fair.
Yeah, and add Nagrom to that as well, and those are the 4 drivers. So I want to give a special shout out to, because they did... turn up to every single race this season.
I think the Heidi was scared of the water.
Yeah, his computer definitely.
That's a theory. Well, anyway, thanks to all the drivers who stayed active and provide us with action. Thanks to all the viewers who have stuck with us throughout the season, and hopefully you have enjoyed what you've seen. Thank you to King-Kodiak for all your nice words and excitement that you've provided throughout. Well, you seem to have turned into a robot on my end, so I'm not quite sure what you said there. Something with my connection, but I think that's an appropriate time to end the stream in that case. So, yeah.
It's back. It's back.
Oh, it's back. Yeah, good. Little shout out to Stevie as well, of course, who had to step into the commentary box at times throughout the season whenever we couldn't be here. And of course, the next GT3 season, season 11, that will be, should be, usually it's about 6 to 8 weeks from the last race of the previous season to the first race of the next season. Of course, a sign-up period and a little bit of a break throughout, well, between the 2 seasons, and there should be a little mini-season again between season 10 and 11. Last time it was a touring car league. I'm pretty sure it's a... I don't know if that's been announced yet. I don't know if I can say
haven't. There hasn't been an announcement for it, but I'm keeping an eye on it because I'm very tempted to take part this time.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, you missed the touring car one, of course. So this is another chance for that.
I had other commitments which denied me. I was so gutted because I wanted to take part in touring cars.
Yeah, I think it will be some kind of car that is a little bit on the slower side compared to GT3 to sort of just bring in maybe a more fun element. And not have a too serious 4-week league. But then, of course, we'll be back with Season 11 of GT3 in due course. So once again, thank you to everyone who have been watching, who have been commentating, who have been driving, and we will see you in a few weeks for the next season of GT3. And stick around, make sure you subscribe to the AOR channel for lots of racing action before that time as well. Thank you, and good night.
And good night.